Hey everyone, and welcome back to another explainer made by Forge College. I am super excited to dive into today's topic. Our focus today is implementing CCTP flows in a Solana application. This is actually a major milestone in our module on cross-chain transfers with Circle CCTP, which is part of our deep dive into stablecoins, payments, and real-world assets right inside the broader Solana ecosystem track. We are covering some serious ground. Now, in our previous lesson, we tackled designing transaction queuing strategies, figuring out how to neatly line up all our actions on-chain. But today, we're taking things a step further. We're rolling up our sleeves to implement a cross-chain transfer protocol, or CCTP, flow right inside a Solana app. We are literally building the digital assembly line that makes these cross-chain transfers a reality. So let's just dive right in.
Okay, so here is the ultimate developer dilemma we're solving today. How do you turn a cross-chain promise, some data claiming you locked up tokens over on Ethereum, into real, spendable USDC on Solana without getting completely scammed by a fake request? It's all about safely translating an off-chain attestation into a concrete on-chain redemption. Think about it. If we mess this up, we're essentially printing free money for hackers to just walk away with. No thanks. But if we get it right, we've built a flawless, seamless bridge.
So here's our game plan for today's engineering project. We're going to start with the cross-chain blueprint, move on to prepping your accounts, dive into parsing and verifying, construct the actual redemption transaction, check our work, and wrap it all up. Don't worry if this sounds like a lot. We're going to build this assembly line step by step.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the cross-chain blueprint, tracking the attestation. We really need to track our hero of this story, the attestation, as it travels across the crypto universe from Ethereum to Solana. The key here is how we partition the workload. We absolutely do not want to cram everything into the Solana smart contract if we don't have to. Heavy math means higher compute fees, and nobody wants that. Instead, we let our off-chain TypeScript processes handle the heavy cryptographic lifting, using libraries like TweetNac to check signatures. Then, for the on-chain part, we use a very thin, highly efficient guard. This on-chain guard doesn't need to know all the complex math. It simply checks a program-derived address, or PDA, to make sure this specific transfer ID hasn't already been processed. It's just an elegant division of labor that saves us money and compute.
Moving right along to Section 2, prepping your Solana accounts, building the bins.
Before our assembly line can start moving any tokens, we actually have to build the containers that will hold them in our local test environment. We've got a minimalist blueprint of account roles here, and we need exactly 3 critical components before a single token can move. First up is the mint account. Think of this as your central printing press that has the explicit authority to issue our test USDC. Second, the destination token account. This is the specific wallet that actually receives the newly minted USDC. And third, the PDA, which will mark as CCTP processed. This one is essentially our master ledger that permanently records processed transfer IDs, so absolutely nobody can double spend.
To actually build those accounts, you can just jump straight into your terminal. We use the standard SPL token command line interface. A quick SPL token create token talks to the network and gives you your mint, and SPL token create account sets up your destination wallet. It's just a few simple keystrokes, but it is absolutely vital for testing this flow locally on your machine.
Welcome to Section 3, parsing and verifying attestations, the quality control phase.
So, an attestation payload just arrived at our factory doors, and we need to crack it open. Inside that JSON payload, we extract these canonical fields: the unique transfer ID, the amount being moved, the origin chain it came from, the destination address on Solana, and finally, the cryptographic signature. Now, let's take a brief moment of silence for every developer who has experienced the absolute dread of mismatched JSON serialization. If your byte order is off by even a fraction, it's kind of like trying to bake a cake but alphabetizing your ingredients instead of following the recipe. The signature verification will fail, and you'll just be staring at error logs for hours. Trust me, canonical serialization matters exactly.
To prevent those nightmare errors, we use a TypeScript function called verify attestation. This is our first line of defense. It extracts that canonical payload and verifies the detached signature using TweetNac, which is basically a highly secure cryptographic library that acts as our digital magnifying glass. It checks the signature against Circle's official public key. If this function returns true, we know with absolute mathematical certainty that this request legitimately came from Circle.
And now for Section 4, the climax of our integration flow, the redemption transaction, turning data into actual USDC.
Before we mint anything, though, we have to talk about a crucial concept, idempotency. This just means an operation produces the exact same result no matter how many times it's executed. Think of it like a strict club bouncer taking a giant Sharpie to a VIP ticket. Once that ticket is marked, you absolutely cannot hand it back to your friends so they can double dip and get in again. We have to design our transactions so that a hacker can't submit the exact same valid attestation 100 times to completely drain the vault. Let's look under the hood and see how we actually build that on-chain bouncer. We create a PDA by taking the string CCTP processed and literally smashing it together with the unique byte data of our transfer ID. This derived address acts as our permanent marker. When a transfer happens, we initialize this specific account. If someone tries to use the same transfer ID again later, our Solana program will see that the account is already initialized and instantly reject the transaction. Boom, vault secured.
Putting it all together, we get the exact logical flowchart our TypeScript client must execute using Solana's web3.js before it mints a single token. Step 1. Parse the JSON attestation. Step 2. Verify the signature mathematically off-chain. Step 3. Query the network to check that our PDA is completely uninitialized. And finally, Step 4, the grand finale, construct and submit the redemption transaction, passing in the mint, the destination, and that PDA guard.
Now for Section 5, check in your work, the final inspection stage.
We need a final check in our blueprint to guarantee our tokens didn't just vanish into the void. You're going to want to look for these concrete observability checkpoints in your local terminal logs and Block Explorer. First, ensure your verification script explicitly prints true. Second, make sure your query showed the PDA was strictly null before sending. Third, check the transaction receipt for a successful confirmation where meta.error is strictly null. And lastly, actually check the destination token account. If you sent 1 million base units of USDC, ensure the balance went up by exactly 1 million.
And hey, don't forget to check the bouncer. You must verify the bouncer actually did their job. You should be able to query the RPC for that processed PDA account, decode its binary data, and confirm it permanently recorded our specific transfer ID, like TX123. If that account is still empty after the transaction, well, your idempotency guard is completely broken and you are vulnerable to an attack.
All right, let's zoom out to review the major takeaways from building this CCTP assembly line in Section 6, wrapping up architectural lessons. The crucial points you should take away from this explainer are these 3 core principles. Number 1, canonical serialization matters exactly. The bytes you verify must match the bytes circle-signed perfectly, no exceptions. Number 2, guard idempotency securely on-chain using PDAs so you can safely retry transactions without accidental double redemptions. And number 3, add observability at every boundary. Log your RPC responses, log your signatures, and make absolutely sure auditors can trace the flow from off-chain data all the way to the final on-chain balance. So you now have a working assembly line. That's awesome. But what happens when things go wrong? Next up in our module, we're going to harden this exact flow with rate limits, anti-replay protections, and stricter validation to make it completely enterprise-ready.
I'll leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. If your on-chain bouncer fails, who protects the vault? The answer is no one, which is exactly why we test these flows so rigorously. This explainer was made by Forge College. I highly encourage you to visit forge.college to continue your Web3 education, dive into the next lessons, and build these robust systems with us. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy coding.